Welcome to Dr. Bali's show, friends. Continuing with the series of Tales of Cancer Warriors, today we are on our second episode with the most spirited, the wonderful fighter who never gave up like a soldier towards his fight against cancer. But why it's so close to my heart is that he used only pure alternative methods with full belief in his own body's power to fight the disease. And part of his journey, we traveled together in my clinic doing his detoxes and ozone therapy and vitamin C therapy, which became a big part of the entire gamut of holistic wellness. And today he stands victorious, and I can't wait to share his story. Let's enjoy the show. So welcome to the show, Asheesh.
Yeah.
And amongst all the stories of cancer survivors or fighters I know, your story is and will always be my most favorite. Because you fought the disease with full faith in the alternative healing methods.
Right.
And congratulations and thank you for that. We can't wait to hear your story with the viewers.
The great thing was the way I looked at cancer, the way I fought it, and the way I got inspired to deal with this thing. So this was around 2nd of January. I felt that there was some problem.
23.
23, yeah. 23, I felt that there's some problem in swallowing.
Yes.
As I'm very conscious of my body, I went instantly. This was at 10 o'clock in the morning while we were having breakfast. At 2 o'clock, I was with my surgeon. And it was
taking instant action.
It was took instant action because that you need to react to when your body. Most of us postpone things, right? Yeah. He had a look at it and he says there's a growth.
There's a growth.
So my next advice to him, of course he is a doctor and it was his call. I said remove it. So he says if it's cancerous, you don't
play with it.
You don't remove it like this. We need to. So I said, when you take a biopsy, you
will be disturbing it.
You will be disturbing it. So removing it.
And probably metastasizing it.
Yeah. So I took option, remove it.
Yeah. You almost ordered him. That's the confidence you had in the approach.
And he agreed it and he removed it. Anyway, so before that, I had to go through my MRIs and various other tests. At this time, we know that there is a growth. This is 2nd of January. 4th of January is my wife's birthday. So we are going out for lunch. So I came from the MRI and we were supposed to go out for lunch and I see all the women and they're crying and they're, So my first reaction was get out of the house, go to a hotel, do your crying.
I don't want any negative energy.
I don't want any negative. Now one thing about whenever you're sick, do not allow
any negativity.
Don't feel defeated. Don't be the bichara.
Face it head on.
Yeah, face it head on. And death is an imminent thing. We all have to die, one way or the other.
Yeah.
Whether it's cancer, whether it's road accident, natural death. We have to face, the greatest of us have to die.
Right.
So death is an imminent thing, and I've lived with death. I've understood death. So for me, it was not.
You had no fear.
I have no fear of death. So anyway, we went, it took 2 days. Of course, we went out for lunch and it took 2 days for the family to understand that this is not going to accept all these sympathies.
You will have your way.
I'm going to have my way. Anyway, so...
This is very rare, viewers, because mostly they get so affected and influenced by so many minds working and taking different decisions and listening to so many doctors, and they can't do what they really want. So congratulations on that. You took your stand.
Now, a second thing was my biopsy was fixed for 10th of January. I was all suited up. I went in my dinner jacket. I was to report to Max at 6 o'clock.
Right.
And I went all alone. So I said, I am the patient. So they looked me up and down. They were surprised. But anyway, sickness is, you have to feel ill.
Yes.
You have to be bichara. You have to feel
in doctor's mind.
You have to be a sick person.
There's the energy that floats in the hospitals,
which I was not willing to accept. Okay. So finally, I was to be ushered into the OT.
Yes.
And they said brought in a wheelchair.
Or a stretcher.
Or a stretcher. No, they brought in a wheelchair. So they said, we have to take you in one of them. I said, no, I will walk to the OT. He said, no, this is not our
way of dealing with things.
This is not a standard operating procedure. You have to be put in a chair or a thing. I said, no, I'm not. Why should I feel sick? But anyway, they made me, they insisted, and I didn't want to delay. So I sat on a stretcher, went to the OT.
Yes.
They removed whatever growth was there.
Yeah.
Now again, at 2 o'clock, I became conscious. And the first thing I looked around, I said, I'm okay and I'm ready to go. So I'm at no stage willing to put myself that I've had an operation, I've had a biopsy, that, oh, you know, I was not willing to accept all this.
So you were happy that you cut the devil off the root and threw it out of your body.
Let's. Yeah. So I want to now go. I don't want to be in this hospital. So there's a lot of chaos, and finally I talked to my surgeon. My surgeon said, come to the OT. So I walked myself to the OT. Now, behind this, they give you a band.
Yes.
They give you a band is because you're not supposed to walk out of the hospital till they take. It's like a dog collar.
Yes.
Okay? Now, I had disappeared from the room and there was a total panic that
where is the patient run away without
paying the bills, So there was a total panic, people hunting me up and down, least realizing that I had gone to the OT. My surgeon said, we don't go today because you will lose all your insurance.
Yes.
You have to spend the overnight and you lose, otherwise you'll lose 1,75,000 or thousand. So, so I had to stay back. So by the time I came back, everybody was admonishing me that you can't leave like this. You have to be taken with a nurse. She has to take you to the, guide you because you're supposed to be sick and ill and you've gone through the operation. So this whole psyche is to put you down.
So the state of mind should be of a victor. You're going to defeat the devil and not come under it.
So this was, thereafter I went to my oncologist. I went to Dr. Ranga was my oncologist. I went to him and he did his various tests and then he sent me for the bone marrow. Now, bone marrow is one of the most painful tests because your anesthesia you're not on in general anesthesia, and it is the most, I actually cried. The pain was so much that I couldn't bear it. But it had to be done. And once it was done, I again said, I want to go. They said, no, we have to observe you. So, so they gave me a duty to talk to the cancer patients who were not taking their bone marrow test or something. But there's a lot of morbidity with cancer. People, so half the time, people are dying of the fear
and the depression.
And then nobody's helping you.
Nobody's around.
Nobody's around. Okay. So the idea is that
this needs to change.
So we are going to die. Of course, we're going to die. We'll die in 5 years. We will die in 5 years, 10 years, 2 years. And I might be crossing the road, might not die of cancer, might die of a road accident. So why be so fearful?
Enjoy every moment till you live. You are 74 now. So when you were detected...
I'm 73.
You're 73.
I was detected as 73 because January
23.
July I was 73.
Last stage.
Blood so cancer. What they detected was a stage 4 lymphoma, non-Hodgkin's. During this time, I decided to make my body very strong. So I started building my 6-packs. I'm 61 kgs. I dropped weight like this.
Your cholesterol dropped.
My cholesterol dropped. My everything.
All your pulse rate, your heart rate, everything.
My eyesight improved because of the
blessing in disguise.
So it was like for the last 1 week, I've been eating junk because a lot of stress has been there and a lot of things are happening. So I've been off my diet, I've been off my supplements, I've been off everything, and eating chocolates and junk.
Which is not what you're supposed to do. So
I am not allowed to do.
When you followed everything well,
I'm doing, but instantly 1 week, I'm on a 48-hour fast. I'll recorrect my system from tomorrow, day after.
As of today, you are on a 48-hour
fast. I'm on a fast. I'll break the fast tomorrow evening. And I'm back onto my diet. So I correct myself because I know, okay, I've done so much junk, and every day I have markers. I have my blood pressure markers, I have my oxygen markers, and I know when the junk happens, my perfusion index, which people don't even know about, people don't even follow it. The oximeter has your oxygen, it tells you your pulse, and it tells you your PI
but
index.
Not the perfusion index.
PI index, nobody talks about it. Now, I observed that when I eat junk, my PI drops. That means the perfusion on the periphery is low. When I'm healthy, when
you meditate, and when you meditate,
I meditate. My PI increases. It goes to 9 and 10 and 11. You know, and this morning, since I've been doing junk, it is 0.7 or 0.8. So it is at the lowest point. So you observe what nutrition does, what
holistic lifestyle. So after the surgery, the growth was removed, and you started following the alternative methods of healing, different modalities.
You growth at a particular point, at the throat. Now lymphoma is now spread. It's gone to the marrow. Okay, so it's like it's all over. So there are 3 or 4 things which are very important. In the holistic methods that I followed, before I followed Gerson therapy that I went into, I was doing Vinoff, I was doing ice baths.
For your earlier conditions.
So once we discovered that this is stage 4 cancer, I was very cool about it, and my son helped me.
Because you had dealt with diseases holistically, and you had defeated them.
Like I have a COPD. My intestine burst. So all those things are corrected naturally. COPD has no cure. They just
chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
You just take steroids and puffs, and every time you are out of breath,
puffing.
Right. I used to walk a little distance from to the end of the room, and I would.
And you had found victory in treating that.
So you had. And today I do 70 lengths of my swimming pool. You know, so I was able to do this. So I believe in the alternative method because body by itself has tremendous healing system. So assist the body. Unfortunately, all that
the treatment methods go against the body's natural healing powers.
They might give you relief, but
temporary.
In the long run, they
destroys your natural defense system.
So I would go for allopathy, which is urgent. Like I have a heart attack, I have a
emergency situation.
I would definitely rely. They have tremendous advancement. But if there's a long, prolonged disease, I will not.
You want to preserve your body because that's what's going to serve you till your last.
So what I believe, of course, I'm not a doctor, and I cannot say this with authority. But I believe, this is my belief, that we as a human beings are creating cancer for ourselves. Cancer is nothing that is coming from outside.
We create the favorable environment for the cancer cells to grow.
So cancer is something which we create the environment. We create the toxic environment. So how do we do this? We are very stressed out.
From the mind, the emotions.
From the mind, our
emotions, most importantly.
We become very physical as people.
Negative. We
look at.
We nurture negative emotions in every way: jealousy, ego, pride.
Right.
Now that you started, recognizing all this, and you're more conscious living, you are helping people. You are healing them. You are approaching them whenever they need any guidance. Whatever the problem may be, and you feel so fulfilled, and that is the positivity that you need to nurture in your body.
Right. So here is, I've been trying to talk a lot of people into believing the alternative method. I've not been able to convince a single one. Okay. Because of 2 reasons. There's so much of brainwashing that is happening. People believe the conventional medicine is the correct method.
Because that's how they have
and you don't want to risk your life into something which is unknown. And so I've not been able to convince anybody about it. But still, I want to talk about it. I will continue talking about it. Because might be one person will, might be two people will understand it and follow it. Because I also got it from somewhere. It came out of the system. So I want to talk about it because people need to understand healing the body is the solution. Just taking a pill is not going to help you. Unless you change.
There is an ill to every pill. Every pill you put in the body, it's going to have side effects. It's going to create.
So it's like people believe in religion. So going to a temple is not going to help you.
Do the right thing.
Believe the right thing. You have to. You have
perform the right karma.
So if you believe in a God, you need to believe in what he
wants you to do.
He wants
Please
you to
him by
just going to the temple is not what he's asking you to do.
But so he wants to look after his people. You share his work. Do that work.
So people just want to do this superficial, artificial thing, and it's not going to help. They need to understand. Cancer is going to be so rampant. Cancer is going to
become like an epidemic already. Every third person you know is heard of her coming down with cancer.
First, cancer used to be like, oh, that fellow's got it. Now every
But today, Asheesh, the things are changing more so post-pandemic because people have understood that it's their body which is going to serve them, their immunity. No doctor, no hospital, no medicines are going to help them. And they are wanting to clean their body, detox, colon cleanse, which you also went through with us, ozone therapy, vitamin C therapy, which brings the immunity up. And if the disease is coming into your body due to your own doing, you come above the disease. Raise your immunity bar so much that disease becomes weaker and eventually has to leave. It cannot feed on your body. So that is so you followed that approach.
So two things are very important. You need to be fearless about it.
Absolutely. Because that's where everything is born.
And second, you need to heal your system. And
so yoga, meditation, the right diet, fasting, resting the body so that it can do the healing work.
Healing process.
Because body only has that much time and energy. If we keep feeding it, you know, constantly digesting, which is 70 to 80% of the energy available to the body, then it's not going to have time to do its important work, which it really is so interested in doing. More than you, the body wants to heal itself. It's like Mother Nature. Mother Nature doesn't want to be in imbalance. And to me, according to me, as a doctor, I don't think there's any disease. These are just the names given by the medical industry. There is an imbalance. So that's what you correct.
Medicine is an industry.
Created industry.
And it wants you not to die, but it wants you sick. Definitely it wants you sick because that's where the money is.
You know, in my practice, Asheesh, I do not like to call anybody a patient. So they are my guests. Are the most clients. But by calling somebody a patient, you're putting this belief in the mind that you are sick. And I don't want people to be sick. You have no right to be sick. The body hates it. So you have to listen to your body and provide it with the right measures, the right support. And the body will serve you beautifully.
It will be. So what happens when, so my son located Gerson therapy for me. And I located a doctor in Singapore. So they told me no salt, no sugar, no dairy,
all inflammatory
no
things.
Wheat.
No heavy foods and no inflammatory toxic
So when I
foods.
said no sugar, I lived on sugar. For me, I need to have this big bar of chocolate.
Ice cream.
Ice cream. I am a guy who lives on sweets. Second, salt, it was a very major thing. For me, I said, how will I live without doing all these
things? But health was more important. Because otherwise you can't party if you don't have health. How will you party with you?
So here is a situation. I will be off Gerson. Gerson treatment is for 18 months. I'm already done. Now, I started in March, so whatever.
January you were detected, March you started Gerson after the surgery.
I would have finished, I'm going to finish
the 18 months.
8-9 months of it. So another 9 months to go. I will be Gerson all my life because I feel...
Because that's what has given you your health back.
So, I want to, this was detected, I started Gerson in March. So, I became healthy. I'm doing yoga, I do my meditation, I do my gym. I do everything. I feel great.
So you did the juicing and the cleanses, the liver cleanse, and then the coffee enemas, and then you cleansed your body. You threw the toxins out, which is the fundamental root for every disease, including cancer.
Right.
And then you nourished it correctly. You gave it rest to heal itself.
So,
and you remained positive, and you from an atheist you became a believer.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I know the whole story.
Another long story.
Yes.
But I believe there are
and you found a purpose.
I believe there are three major
fundamental way of being happy and healthy.
Fundamental unhealthy things or healthy things that we have. One is our digestive system. Majority of people suffer from constipation. Constipation is
because they overload it with
constipation is a source of sickness because you are not able to cleanse the system,
and then the toxins travel through the whole
and
body.
They stay back. And that's your
you know, we have never done so much colon therapy as we do now because people have become so conscious of this fact. In a clinic,
so what you eat is very important.
Yes.
Second, what you breathe is very important. So lungs are very important.
70% of the detox happens through breath.
Right.
This people.
So most of the people, I feel they've got the nasal tracts jammed. They've got a lot of this happening. So I feel the nasal tracts and the breathing is a very crucial thing. Your digestive system have to be, and your mind has to be good. And I think life is so beautiful.
Yes.
And being stage 4.
So as you shared with me that the cancer is there dormant in your body, like in everybody. But you have not to give it the environment to proliferate, to grow. And that's how you have to.
So what happened?
Have a lifestyle.
I had stage 4 cancer, which did not develop in one day.
Yes.
During COVID, now COVID again is a very controversial subject as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, we were all part of that COVID thing.
Yes.
The fear which happened. What we did, watch television, ate chips, and I ate tons of sweets. Now sugar, salt, and non-activity. The case.
So till the time we are not, attacked by the disease, we are ignorant, and we are lazy, and we do not live consciously. So that is what is important. Each day you have to live doing the right things, serving, carrying the right emotions, being positive, having faith. Then when you have faith, you have no business to have fear. Because if you really believe in a power without which I don't think we can exist, because we are part of that bigger power. We have to fuse together and continue to live healthy and happy. And that is what we forget to do on daily basis.
Why? Because I was an atheist, and I became an atheist because the head of Palna, she died, and her husband died, and her children were, led to fend for themselves. And I said, God, if you're going to do this to if you're going to do this to a good person,
then I don't believe it.
I don't believe it. So that went on for a couple of years, and finally certain events happened, and I got attached to my Shiv temple, and Shiva pulled me back.
Today you are doing his havans yourself.
Yeah, I do my
chanting all the mantras, and
I believe.
So you transformed. You completely transformed, and now you've made it your mission to do this work. And I pray to God that you live 100 years plus, because this work is so required. To encourage people, to give them hope, to give them the right path. That your example of fighting last stage cancer using only holistic methods, nothing else, is so encouraging. And I'm so happy to be sitting here and talking to you.
If I was given one more year or 1 month,
you will celebrate.
If I was given 1 year with chemo, I would choose 1 month of non-chemo
without
quality of life, because quality of life is more important. And I don't want invasive surgeries. I don't want people invading into my body, because
they have no right.
This body is sacred, and it's a fantastic mechanism. It is millions of years of evolution.
Absolutely.
I believe in it.
Yes.
And I believe in healing it.
And it's as powerful as Mother Nature, because we are a byproduct of Mother Nature.
It is. And I believe, as is taught to us in our scriptures, that Aham Brahmosmi, we are all part of that divinity.
So medically, what do your doctors tell you today?
So today, my doctor, this was in the month of October. I went to my oncologist. He says this cancer is not going to kill you. It has not moved, and it had been January to October, 10 months. It had not moved. So कुछ नहीं होने वाला तेरे को.
Dormant पड़ा रहेगा. It will stay there.
It will stay there.
And you will keeping it under.
I simultaneously went to another doctor who I was referred to because it's blood cancer. So I have to go to hematologist. Yeah. So I went to hematologist and he looked at it. He's very good, very good, very good. And finally he says, I says it's thanks to Gerson. So he says, I told you no treatment. So I said,
don't do any alternative treatment.
No. So I said, why? He says, you are changing the chemical composition of your body and the cancer will come and bite you. Now, he was a doctor. I didn't want to do anything. Had it not been my doctor, I would have given a piece of my mind because this man sat there and tried to scare me. Of course, I'm not the kind of guy who gets scared. Okay, I'm not a guy.
That even if you didn't get killed by cancer so far, you should go and get killed.
You should.
So that people.
But he went so much against. He says, so I referred this to my
your
Gerson
doctor.
Yeah. And he says, of course we changed the chemicals. Of course we have changed the environment. So he's
against the survival of cancer.
Yeah, but we are going to finish the cancer by this. Cancer cannot come and bite you.
Yes.
I'm not saying I might die of cancer tomorrow. I'm very healthy. I can give it to right. I'm 73. My hair are going black. I can party for 4 days. I don't know very many young people who can go party for 4 days continuously. My energy levels are so high. And this is all thanks to the.
So you have saved your life. And I don't think, by the way, cancer is going to kill you.
I also don't feel so.
Yes, don't say that. Cancer is much weaker than who you are.
Right.
And congratulations on that. Thank you for your time and for sharing your beautiful story.
Thank you.
I hope, viewers, you are encouraged and you can also not just cancer but fight every disease using the alternative methods. Thank you.
Thank you.